So we're stopping off at the Chadwick right by the Texas Motor Speedway to drop off some McDonald's. Some boy got hungry for food for friends. I want to tell you how collaboration works. Alfred Hitchcock, one of the greatest filmmakers of all time, made a film called Psycho, which is black and white. He's a big fan. Originally, Alfred Hitchcock wanted that scene in the shower to be quiet. He didn't want any music. He told Bernard Herrmann or whoever was working on it, said, it's got to be quiet. It has to be quiet. No noise. Quiet. Then the composer played the music. And Hitchcock said, I was wrong. Use the music. So the music was very important in the shower scene. So he used it. So on True West, it was also done with Ethan Hawke and Paul Dano, as well as Philip Seymour Hoffman and John C. Reilly and John Malkovich and Gary Sinise. So there's all these different takes on it. Now, I did see another production that was done in Europe or something, but it was played by this very, 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 very good actor who played Lee and his brother. I have to get the names of them, but they played Lee as kind of like a almost borderline autistic guy, you know. He was kind of talk loud and forceful like that, you know, kind of. And Austin was, you know, kind of like a normal, you know, writer type of guy, whatever. And they played very opposite kind of characters, so it's all about the character contrast. True West is a very, very, very good one. Oh yeah. David Bowie, Black Star. It's a good song. countries, smothered in corruption of drugs, especially crystal, big time. We're talking all kinds of people are strung out on fucking methamphetamine. It's really bad. These dogs protect them. Her name is Nellie. Melly? I don't know. Maybe.
Watch out, vehicle stopped on shoulder ahead.
I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. All right. Just give me all 10 of them then. All right, operator. Just give me all 10 of them. Okay, hang on. I gotta find a pen. Go get me a pen, boy. Come on! Come on! Pen! Pen! Okay, then give me a pencil. Come on! Come on! You're a writer and you don't have a pen or a pencil? Austin, I'm on the phone here. Give me a pen or a pencil. Hang on a second, operator. This is the last time I try to live with people, boy! I can't believe it! Now here I am again, in a total desperate situation. This would have never happened on the desert! Never be in this situation in the desert. Isn't there a pen or a pencil? I don't want any toast! The cool thing about Sam Shepard's True West is it can be done in almost any situation. It usually is done in kind of the same situation, you know. A room that can be used as like a writer room with a kitchen. There's toasters involved. There's typewriter. There's golf clubs, or at least one golf club. They're part of Sam Shepard's stuff is not necessarily performance art, but he does use scenery as kind of a character. Coyotes yapping helps. You know, there's dogs barking. There's crickets throughout the whole thing. Lots of crickets. Long pauses. You know, he caws for long pauses. There's almost comedic style, you know, comedic dell'arte almost style emotion involved in it. It doesn't come from the same rhythm of something like Eugene O'Neill or something. It comes from the rhythm of Sam Shepard's crazy rock and roll life. You know, his life that he lived in New York, his fast-paced, crazy life on the Bowery and trying to survive. And then this is kind of a comment on writing, a comment on trying to construct a story for Hollywood. You know, Hollywood's a name in it, and it's just a fight. These brothers fighting and yelling and screaming to a heightened degree. I've seen it done many different ways. The character of Lee is the debatable one. If I'm not mistaken, I think Philip Seymour Hoffman and John C. Reilly would switch roles between Austin and Lee. So you'd have the educated writer as opposed to the drifter. Because in certain times of the play, they kind of act almost in the same drunkenness. You know, he takes them to a far, far region of the human psyche. But also you have to realize this, though, is that Sam Shepard had a horrible, horrible problem with alcohol. And it was one of the reasons that led to his death, besides the ALS, the Lou Gehrig's thing. And he passed away not very long ago. I think a couple of days before my birthday, a couple of years ago, or a few years ago. But it was True West is definitely one of the most fun adventures for the actor. Cut perfect print. Now, when thinking of Sam Shepard, and also the style of acting, because he does call for a certain style as well It's based in a sense of realism. You got to realize that he's written a lot of different plays, almost to the point where some plays were almost cartoonish and others very real, like True West. Joe Chaikin must be studied, and the fact that the actor and his presence is required in a Sam Shepard play. You're to be there present while it's going on. You don't get through True West easily. Okay, it's an exhausting play. Just that little segment, that I was just showing you was very exhausting. I got crap all over the car, all kinds of stuff. I didn't find a pin. I found this crappy pin. But the idea behind it was to stretch the actor's emotional, mental psyche to a heightened degree. Buried Child, which is another play, we'll get into that one later. That one does a little bit of that, but nothing like True West. True West really stretches the actor in a very serious way. It's a pretty serious play. You got to check it out. You never want to approach it in just one direction. Joe Chaikin never did that. Joe Chaikin was a master director for the Open Theater and was connected to the Living Theater at that time in the 60s. This was commenting on the boomer generation, the time of the 60s and 70s. And Joe Chaikin would have never just tried anything one way. There's no one way to do it. And I've seen it done many different ways. It's a very, very, very good play. True West. Green light. There's nothing real around here, Lee! At least of all me! So, I mean, ideally you could probably do it like, there's nothing real around here, Lee, at least of all me. I mean, there's really no one way as long as it's coming from the center and you understand it at that moment. It would come out of the moment. That's what Joe Chaikin would support. That it's coming out of that moment. That moment, right? It's a bad director is like giving you line readings and say, no, that's not how it sounds. A good director is looking for the moment, right? And they're tagging that moment. And there is nothing real around here. At least of all me. He's commenting on himself as a person, even though he's kind of in a way abusing. He's abusing something. I think it's a little bit about abuse, but it is about writing. It's about, the whole aspect of going through everything. Do you want some toast? If they want to jump, they'll jump. And if they want to stay inside Texas, they'll stay inside Texas. You finish that whole thing up, top to bottom, and you put my name on it. And I'll own the right, and every dime will go into my pocket. Sam Shepard, True West. You do all that for me, and sure enough, I'll take you to the desert. How does that sound? It's a deal. I can't believe this many people know. What do you call that, Austin? That's been said 1,000 times before. What do you call that? A what? A key? a cliche? You know, the back of my hand. It's what you said! It's funny when I did that. So I turned it down so the Bluetooth couldn't go in. Yet my thumbnail still clicked on it. Just a little more work that you have to do. Just a little more work. Even though the thumbnail, you know, makes a little tiny click. You know, a click in the when you're hitting the actual button to turn it on. Because I've turned this down. That's where you're supposed to come in. That's where you're supposed to come in and change it and make it better. You hear the stupid line and then you change it. That is your job! Austin, change it. Change it. Change it. Change it. Change it. Change it. I will not have it in there like that. So the brother, Lee, basically walks around Austin with a golf club, all sweaty, making sure that he writes the screenplay exactly as he thinks it, aloud. He's on intimate terms with the prairie? What does that mean? Now you got it, buddy! Now you got it! We got it now! It sounds pretty original! Yeah, we got it now! That sounds original! So that time, when I went through 7-Eleven, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can kind of see it there. I'm trying to see, there we go. It didn't do the... Yeah, that's the enter loyalty number. That time it didn't do it, so it was $2.59 that I paid. Maybe this thing is tricky. And I put my PIN in first and everything, and then it didn't even ask for the number. I like that scene when the mom comes in, and Austin's trying to explain to her that Lee sold a screenplay, and he's like, "Lee and I are going to the desert." Right there. The mom comes in, she starts asking about her plants. And Austin's like, "Yeah, we were watering the plants." The whole place is completely destroyed. The typewriter's been chopped up in little pieces with a golf club. There's beer all over the floor, you know, probably 50 or 60 bottles of beer all scattered everywhere. All this broken stuff. The whole place is trashed. Dishes are broken. The toaster, there's like all these toasters piled up from when he went out and stole a bunch of toasters. The whole place is gone. Then the mom starts talking about a new artist is in town, and I think that artist is Picasso. She's like, the mom's like, "You'll never guess who's in town. Take a guess." And Austin's like, "What do you mean, Mom?" And that's when she explains that Picasso's in town. It's a great little ending. It doesn't wrap it up quite yet, because then there's a telephone cord that pops out. And we get it like a Cain and Abel kind of thing. She goes, "Picasso's in town. I read it on the museum." And Austin says, "No, Mom, Picasso's dead." He has to convince her that, you know, Picasso's already, you know, passed on. So the mom is kind of walking around, and he goes for the antiques. Lee, of course. "Mom, I need to borrow some antiques. I'm going to get some antiques." She's like, "Well, can't you take the plasticware?" "No, it's not the same. I'm tired of eating on my bare hands." Because, you know, he's like headed off to the desert. And his brother is upset. Austin wants him to stay because he wants him to finish the deal with Saul so that they can score the big money. But then Lee is cutting out all of a sudden. And the mom's kind of walking around and all nervous and stuff. It's a great little kind of wrap up for the whole struggle between the two. The mom comes and tries to restore some type of peace. She says, haven't you done enough damage as it is, to the place? So Austin freaks out and goes, you're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. You're staying right here. You're not taking the dishes, the car. You're not taking the car. You're not taking the dishes. You're not taking anything. And he gets on top of him. He grabs the phone cord and he wraps it around his neck, just very Cain and Abel. They get in this big fight. He doesn't actually kill him, but you have to see it. And the mother's just standing there in shock. It's a great little ending. Look, a plane. See a plane right there? There's a plane. See? There's plenty of room to fight outdoors. You have plenty of room to do this outside, the mom says, as he's getting choked. Give me my keys back. Give me my keys back. And he's on top of his brother. And the mother goes, you're not killing him, are you? He's like, give me my keys. Give me my keys back. Give me my keys. The mom goes, well, let him breathe a little bit. He's like, give me my keys. Give me my keys. She says, give him his keys back. Stop doing this. Will you stop choking him? The mom, tells him to do that. He won't kill you. He's your brother, the mom says. So Austin has the mom put the keys in his back pocket while he's on top of his brother, Lee, choking him. And she's like, will you let him go? And she puts the keys in the back pocket of his brother, or actually of Austin. It's a great little scene. The mother says, that's a savage thing to do. And he's, on top of his brother, choking him and everything. The mom's kind of walking around. And they're kind of trying to wrap it up. He's threatening to kill him, but he's like, if I just pull on it a little harder, he won't be able to breathe, He's telling his mother that. And the mother's just sitting there. Well, it's both their mothers, The mother's just, she's standing there or sitting. So the mother's complaining about how horrible it is to watch them fight. And he's heaving. He's almost dying. And finally, the mother's threatening to check in a motel. And finally, he tells Lee, just give me a head start. Just give me a head start. Finally gets up from his brother. His brother appears to be dead, and he's in shock. And he's looking over at his brother Lee. And then finally, Lee jumps up really quick. Lee stands up and looks at his brother. They're basically having a staring contest. And you hear all these coyotes. They just stare at each other for a very long time. And the lights slowly fade. I think the mom is on stage at the end. It's debatable. That's probably might be up to the director, but definitely the brothers are standing there staring at each other. I've seen it done different ways, but I really like the John Malkovich, Gary Sinise version. I haven't seen really a lot of other versions, other than the other one I saw by some English troupe or something. They really knocked it out of the park too. True West, you got to see it. Written by the playwright Sam Shepard. Rest in peace. There is a good and there is a bad, and most storytellers will address that issue. There's good and there's bad.
Vehicle stopped on shoulder ahead.
Once again, I'm a dad. I have 3 children. I know what a good night is. We are in the year of 2021. Once again, just saying, you know, have a great night. Like, I have 3 kids, I know what a great night is.
Gotta make that quiche. And that takes like a while. Right, he said it was the last one and it was a good deal, but I couldn't remember what it was. So it's such a some like really good bets or something. You know the little corner of yeah, I got the last one.
You're talking about clearance. Remember we vlogged that? I said, hey, maybe Elizabeth can make SpaghettiOs. Remember?
Yeah. And it's still here. I know they're not good for you, but
What is it?
I've never seen them before.
Oh. Those are actually not good for you.
Yeah, I know. But all those ingredients.
What they're designed to do is burn the roof of your mouth. If it's a pizza roll, yeah, it's a burner. It burns the roof of your mouth.
I know my one friend says he'll sit down and eat 40 of these. I'll eat like 12. 40? I bet you could probably eat the whole bag because you're not paying attention. Okay. Oh, it's got a lot of chemicals. You should buy your own affiliate.
Linda noticed that there was a problem here. As you can see, someone had an accident. What actually happened, Linda? Did you see?
I didn't see it all, but it's still cold.
Still cold? Linda's putting it back up into the refrigerator. Don't know if it's the correct section, but at least it will get refrigeration.
Yeah, 2 toaster scrambles.
Right, we don't want that.
Some ice cream.
Some ice cream. That could have gone bad. Very good, Linda.
Thank you. I'm a lifesaver.
Well, for the ice cream.
Hey, sweetie. A lady pushed a bear over the wall to protect her lap dogs. This lady over here, she pushed the bear.
Reporter Alice Chase.
You watching this?
Who explains what she was thinking at the time.
She pushed the bear.
I had it in me, to be honest.
This lady, she walked up, she pushed the bear over the fence.
It was a quiet Monday afternoon until a bear makes its way into this Bradbury backyard. The dogs run out, and then 17-year-old Haley follows them out of the house.
Honestly, I did not know it was a bear.
Look, pretty crazy. With chicken patties.
When I was a kid, my least favorite monkey was my Nesmith. As an adult,